not kill yourself in the lab trying to please your supervisor? I know sometimes we spend sleepless nights in the lab. We write papers, we go research, conduct experiments, write papers because we want to gain favor. We want to gain favor from our research group. We want to gain favor from our supervisory team. But what happens? Do you think of what will happen after you graduate? Guys, I know this is the trend. Now, when you are a master's or a PhD student, when you finish your studies, the goal is that you want to become a lecturer. When you become a lecturer, you start going through the track. From there, you become a lecturer. After that, you become a senior lecturer, an associate professor, and a professor. That's the trend that you want to follow. But the problem today is that, guys, these full-time lecturing positions are at an all-time low. Now, the available academic positions are so limited compared to the number of masters and PhDs that are graduated every year. So do you want to fall into competition? You don't want to fall into this competition. So no matter the amount of results that you bring, trying to please your supervisor, hoping that someday he will help you get a position, he will never be satisfied. Now, what am I saying? When you start a master's or PhD, know the requirements of your academic work. If you have to produce one paper, if you have to produce two papers, what are the requirements of your research? What are the requirements that you must meet in order to earn a master's or a PhD degree? When you finish these requirements, get out of the lab and start planning your life after graduation. Life after graduation, guys, is very difficult, it's very complicated. You have a lot of skills in you, you have a lot of knowledge in you, but the problem is that you don't know how to align these skills to practical problems. So you bury your head in the labs, you bury your head running experiments or maybe molecular geochemistry, molecular technology, all those things. These are theoretical things, these are theoretical knowledge that you have, that you must be able to identify a practical problem, align this knowledge that you have to solve this problem before you can make a fortune, guys, before you can make a fortune. Now, this practical problems is the next oil for masters and PhDs. What am I talking about? The same skills that you use in the lab. What do you do when you want to start a laboratory experiment? First, identify a research question. Secondly, you do preliminary research, what you normally call literature review. When you do this literature review, you come up with what we call research questions or hypotheses. With this hypothesis, now what do? You set experiments where you copy, and after conducting the experiments, you obtain results. From the results, you draw conclusion. This is the same methodology called the scientific method. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook uses the scientific method. He also runs experiments. See what he has to say.
I think the key is building a company following the scientific method, right? You try a bunch of different hypotheses, and if you set up the experiments well, then you kind of learn what to do. And I think that's an important philosophy.
Secondly, you also have Elon Musk, who uses this same methodology to build solutions. This is the same methodology you use. But do you know why you struggle? The problem is that you waste time in the lab solving a problem that no one needs it. A problem that came from the literature and not a problem that came from a real person. Literature will not pay you money for solving a problem, but a real person. Now, where does your problems come from? When you start your thesis, what does your supervisor tell you? Go to the literature, go and do literature review. Identify what others have done. Come out with a knowledge gap. Guy, a knowledge gap will not pay you money. What is going to pay you money is if you talk to a real person, identify their problems and convert their problems into a research topic. But don't worry, you already have these skills. That is why I want you to hurriedly finish. Get out of that lab and come, let me show you how you are going to identify practical problems and use your knowledge to solve these practical problems to somebody who can pay you money to make results. My name is Fabrice Abude and I help masters and PhDs succeed in life. Thank you.